Redbird team, we beating competition. Redbird team, we bringing bang. Redbird team, Arizona we reign. Redbird team, a new day, a new change. Let the bird team say Super Bowl reign. It's the Redbird bounce, scoreboard word count. Redbird drop bombs, so sound the alarm. It's the Redbird attack, so don't hold back. Who got the football? It's the Redbird Jack, in not in the box. QB stay on lock, tick tock, Campbell and Doc, you love that spot.
All right, welcome in here on Hanna Time, Global Sports Broadcasting Network. We're known as Brad Hanna live at JJ's Drep Shack here in East St. Arizona. We just watched the big game, Cardinals Vikings. Great finish, fun game to watch, a lot of action, a lot of ups, a lot of downs. But let's bring it back here in a minute. As, we're going to talk more about this game. And fans itself, you want to come on in here and just basically express yourself, give your comments. We'll read them online if you can. I know it was frustrating to watch this Cardinal team. A lot of turnovers. Just the pass protection wasn't there. And just some of the things, the fundamental things that really hurts this team, bites them in the butt a lot too, right? The Vikings are a good football team. They are a very good football team. But the Cardinals could beat this team. And they had a chance to beat this team. And they just could not put together a cleaner game to get on the road in Minnesota to win a game down the stretch. And there's a lot of things you can look at too with the Cardinals, what may or should have happened. They never quit. They never gave up. They fall short to the Vikings, who are 6-1. The Cardinals are 3-5. They haven't won there since 1977, right? Murray has 2 interceptions. There's 3 turnovers. Every one of them was crucial and big. Former Cardinals linebacker Jordan Hicks makes a huge 4th and 4 stop. I wish they had him on the Cardinals. I've been saying that. I don't know why he's in a different color uniform. Also, the Cardinals had one more chance, though. This was amazing. It looked like the Cardinals were dead, right? Kyler throws the interception. Things are looking rough. Vikings have the ball, but the Vikings got conservative, and the Cardinals defense, again, finds a way to keep them in the game, get the ball back. Cardinals had a last desperate chance with no timeouts, 2 minutes left. It was a 4th down. The Vikings had to punt the whole bit. The Cardinals get the ball back, and you're just sitting there going, can this happen again? Can the cardiac come through again, right? And it looked like it was on the move. And then it just faltered. It fell apart. And ended with the sack at the end of the game as a desperate last drive falls short with a midfield sack. Kyler was probably trying to get a Hail Mary one more time to his man D-Hop and just couldn't get out of the pocket and stumbled and fall. And that's basically how it was, right? They just couldn't get out of their own way in this game. And a better team won? Yes. Vikings had a more well-balanced offense, you have to say. They ran the ball effectively. Kirk Cousins wasn't asked to do much, but he made enough plays. Jefferson was still hot, a great receiver. He was big, right? And that Viking defense is pretty good. But the Cardinals were able to get the ball downfield, and they found a way to utilize certain players effectively. So there's a lot of positive out of it. They just couldn't pull off the win. 8 games into the season, they're 3-5. There's a lot of promise with the next 9 more games. There really is. But they got to clean up their act. They really have to. And they got to find more of a balanced attack on offense. You got to be able to run the football. Keep your defense fresh. There are some really positives, though, that, Rondale Moore had his best game as a Cardinal. Ertz has been solid and had some great catches. Yeah, Hopkins was fantastic. Kyler's legs were effective. He's running again, which really is everything for this offense. So, those were the stars of the game on the offense for the most part, right? I mean, if there's one more you want to throw in there, tell me, because other than those 4, those are the ones making the bigger plays. Should there be more guys involved? Probably. Where was the running game? Nowhere. Kyler Murray had more yards rushing, again, for his team. That's not what you want. But the Vikings, give them credit, though, because they made sure they stopped the run. They made sure they were going to make sure the Cardinals were going to, put the ball in Kyler's hands. And the Cardinals were behind for the whole game, right? I mean, think about that, too. They were always behind unless one point when they just took the lead and looked like they were going to steamroll it a little bit. and then they fell apart, and they were catching up again. So the Cardinals were always shooting themselves in the foot. But as the Cardinals defense was just as good late in the game, the Cardinals offense was good other than those turnovers, right? And the Cardinals got some breaks along the way. A penalty that stops the clock, helps them save a timeout and things like that. So the Cardinals were given the opportunities. It was in front of them, just couldn't finish it. Kyler Murray was hit a whole bunch. He was sacked 4 times, hit 8 times. He was hurt about 14 times. A lot of it was late in the game, but he still found ways to make the throw, get up in the pocket, find D Hop, right? And Hopkins was just crazy good today. He really was. You got to give him a lot of love for a guy who was missing a lot of football. He was fantastic today. And you can see that Hopkins and Murray, have a great combination, a great chemistry, and that's a positive moving forward as it opens up more of that offense. But you were hoping to see the the running game of the Cardinals to be able to just balance that attack, and with D Hop out there, and you got your tight end, right, and it just never got going, and that really hurt them today too. That running game was never there, and they do miss James Conner. And if Conner comes back healthy, and that offense is going to get better, and Connors is a moving the stick kind of guy. He finds the end zone in the red zone. Cardinals have struggled in the red zone. They have yet to score a touchdown in that first quarter, right? That first half seems to be a mystery to a lot of Cardinal fans, where they just don't find the offense enough, right? And then that second half seems like they're always, right on, and everything moves great again. So they just not balanced. But you got to be able to be positive that things are going to get better. Okay, I know it's hard, but there's a lot of good things today, a lot of good things. But we're gonna have to wait and see. Big game again next week. Got a lot of big games for the Cardinals. They're 3-5, but they can flip this around really quick. They're gonna have to go like let's see, they got 9 games to go. A 7-2 run would be fantastic. But if you go 6-3, you got a shot at least for a minimal wild card situation at that point. The division is not out of hand, right? I mean, everybody's beating each other up for the NFC West, and they did play the number 1 team in the NFC today, and they looked like they can hold their own against that team. So those are, you got a lot to look forward to. So we got to tap the brakes. They weathered the storm. Would have been great if they were 4-4. That would have been huge. 3-5, relatively what we were expecting with the D Hop suspension and a lot coming out of the gates. And now the second half of the season pretty much is on the way. Now, this is it. It's November, time to go. And this is where the Cardinals have struggled in the past. Now they got to flip the script and move forward, right? And this is what we got to do. All right. Let's see here. I got some fans popping in already. I appreciate it. I got Mike Buchanan online. I think, Mike, you're going to be next here. But I do want to kind of go through a few things with the Cardinals, some stats real quick. When the Cardinals basically evened the match with the same amount of yards, 375 to 381 with the Vikings. Okay, total plays, 70 to 68. Again, we did this last time with the Cardinals. They on the stat sheet, team-wise, they were right there with their opponent. Got to get the win. Total drives, Cardinals had 12. They had 13 total plays per play. Let's say 5.4 yards from the line of scrimmage. The Cardinals had 5.4. The Vikings had 5.6. It wasn't like the Vikings were just whooping them. They did look better, though. They did look more sound. They did like they had more bigger plays in them, cleaner football. But for some reason, the Cardinals were just right there, never out of this game, right? Even though when it looked bleak, right? Good reason, because the Cardinals were balling today. They were fighting through it. They were looking better. It's a weird way of saying it. I think they look better today than they did against last week on Thursday night, honestly, because a couple of pick sixes, it's a whole different offense and scoring wise. I think today I saw a lot more offense. I saw a better offense, and I saw a better defense. Last week, that defense struggled. So let's. I know the score doesn't show that, but there's a lot of promise there. We got to wait how it plays out. All right. So completion wise, Kyler's 31 for 44. So when you're 31 for 44, you got to hope you have a running attack with that. But that's not bad, right? Kyler, throwing over 300 yards, 326 yards. But the two interceptions were lame ducks, pressure, desperate. Sometimes he just needs to just eat it, and throwing off your back foot doesn't help either. And it did hurt. It really hurt them because those are possessions, and the Vikings flipped those into 14 points, right? Those interceptions. So basically, the Vikings are all for turnovers today. The 3 turnovers, they got 14 points out of it, and that's the difference of the ball game, right? The 3 turnovers to the Vikings won. Points off of turnovers, I believe, was 14-7 favor of the Vikings. There's your difference, right? So that's the game. And then the Cardinals just were cleaner. They were not turning the ball over for most of the year, right? All of the year, all season long, and all of a sudden tonight or today, the 3 turnovers show up. But the Vikings is a defense that takes the ball away. They have a great differential of turnovers at the top of the league, bro. So they did their part. The Cardinals needed to find a way to keep it simple, cleaner. And it didn't happen. The Cardinals turnover department, which was all year long doing well. You may have seen a Cardinal victory tonight. You never know, but you feel confident to say that, because that was the difference of the game, the turnovers. It really, really was. The sacks were there. Kyler's starting to get hit more and more. There's injuries there too. The real running game. So nobody's afraid of the running game, the running attack of the Cardinals. So there's a lot of pressure at the line of scrimmage. A lot of heat, very physical. And that offensive line just cannot hold long enough. And they're coming. And they were coming after Kyler. He got hit today, and he felt it. And Kyler was smart. He was able to get out of the pocket and a bunch of times, right? When you lead the team in rushing with 36 yards rushing, not a lot, but when Kyler runs for 100 yards, Cardinals do win. They win, right? They play well. Hopkins, look at these numbers for DeAndre Hopkins. 12 catches, 156 yards, 1 touchdown. Great day. That's what they were missing. The star player. Is he the MVP, most valuable player? He's the most valuable player on that offense, no doubt. And no doubt. He just elevated that offense right away, and that helps. Kyler needs that, but you would think the Cardinals would have weathered the storm offensively. 3 wins, though, folks, after 8 weeks of ugly football. The NFL has looked ugly all year long, so the Cardinals are not – they're in it. They're a tick above the bad teams, I believe, at this point. And they went up against the best team in the NFC, who didn't really blow you away, right? But you can see how cleaner they were, and that's the big difference also, is the Cardinals trying to get cleaner and better in that department. They took more chances downfield, the Cardinals, which created more opportunities for Kyler to get hit because he has to stay in the pocket longer and things like that. So it broke down, and they were trying to take shots downfield. The Cardinals went bubble a lot, and you got frustrated, but they weren't committed to the bubble offense. Everything at the line of scrimmage. They weren't committed to it. They were attacking downfield, and that's why DeAndre Hopkins was a big part of that, getting him back in the lineup because of that. And then you saw what can now be the most highly potential offense that wasn't producing, having a positive road of 9 games ahead of them offensively, where they're going to try to stretch the field more. So guys like Rondale Moore, who had his best day, right? Great game for him as a Cardinal, right? But he was utilized. He had more open field areas to run, a lot of green around him, and he used his speed. And he was hard to tackle. Once he got his legs going, you saw a few times, he was hard to bring down. So the D-Hop factor opens up that field more. Zach Ertz should be even bigger and better down the road the next 9 games. So, and that running game, once it gets healthy and back, we expect them to have more productive at the running game. They have some great running backs, but the Cardinals are not able to run block well. And maybe they're not a good run block team, right? But when you get your horses back, who have produced for you, maybe this will add more to that balanced attack that we're expecting. All right, there's my intro to it. Let me get my first guy on the line coming in here is Mike Buchanan. He's watching his Cardinals. Hey, Mike, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good, man. These guys beat me down every week. It's like a broken record, Cornelius. It's the same thing every week. We start out slow, and it's getting old. You know, I got to disagree with you on one thing you said. The Cardinals threw the ball down the field more. That did not happen until the second half.
Yep.
The first half, I always listen to the radio broadcast, and I was kind of counting them too. But Wolfley and Pash, they made a note. They threw the ball more than 10 yards 2 times in the first half. More than 10 yards. That's unacceptable. That's on the head coach. So,
you know, I agree with you there. I don't know why it continues to be that way on that first half, Mike. I know the fans are frustrated, and there's a game plan. You script out your game, and it's as if it's the same script, and everybody's reading the play. You know, you go to the play, Broadway play, or whatever, and but you go back and you know what to expect. You know, I watched it 3 times. Well, think about all those defenses around the NFL watching and knowing the script, and they gotta write a new play script, right?
That's why little screens do not work early in the game because everybody's set. You know, Rondale Moore was not even a factor really until late in the first half, second half. They started throwing the ball a little bit down the field. They totally did away with the screen game.
Yeah.
And when the offense opened up. So, you know, that's on the head coach, like I said. You know,
I do say though, Mike, I will say that AJ Green needs to attack and go get that ball in the end zone. I think it was a fourth down. What was that? Was it a 4? I don't know. They kicked the field goal.
Down.
Yeah, that's the first half. They had a chance there, and he's a tall receiver. I know Patrick Peterson made a nice play, but if he gets that ball and snags it out of the air I don't know why he was like that in Cincinnati, and he was always playing big, but he looks like he wants to just run to the ball, doesn't want to give himself up a whole lot, and that's what he needed to do there. And you got to go get the ball and be aggressive. That stuck in my head. That he played passive. Did you notice that too? I'm assuming the fans did.
You know, That's why, you know, we made the trade for Robbie Anderson. You know, put the guy in the game. I know he's limited on what he knows of the offense.
Right.
But put the guy in the game. AJ Green is no factor. Just quit that experiment. Move on. Start trying to build. You know, because otherwise the offense is just going to keep struggling because AJ Green, he's going to be no factor. He's done.
So where do they go from here, man? As a fan, I mean, we're not happy with the first half. I mean, look at the numbers, the score, the second half. I mean, those turnovers today really hurt them. That was the big difference on the scoreboard. Yeah. I felt more positive today. I know it's hard when you lose.
I agree with that.
You know, 9 more games to go.
One more thing, too. Cliff, why did he go for 2? Why did he go for 2?
It was too early in the game. Right? It was
too early in the game. It was like 8 minutes left in the third quarter. He goes for it. All right. Then Minnesota come back, scored a touchdown. It made it a 2-possession game.
Right.
He keeps making those same mistakes.
You know, they also had mistakes with the play clock again. There was a couple of times they had to call timeouts. You know, late in the game that happened. That cost them that timeout, you know, which could have benefited them, you know, maybe on that last drive or saving more clock time or whatever it was, but it definitely has an effect to it. But the Cardinals were given opportunities. The Vikings had a chance to just stomp them and put them out of their misery, and they did it. And you got to give credit where it's due on that defense. They made their stops. But when the Vikings were, the penalty late in the game where it stopped the clock, right? How about with the Cardinals' 4th down situation where, or 3rd and long situation, and there was a penalty of a player not getting off the field in time, and the Cardinals get the ball one more time on 3rd down, and they produced, right? They took advantage of it. So the Cardinals were given some opportunities that you don't expect and you shouldn't expect because you got to earn it, but they were given a break. and they kept him in the game. They capitalized on it. They made it happen, and it just wasn't enough. But if those things don't happen, this thing would have been over. The clock would have ran out long ago, in my eyes.
They battled.
Right.
There's no doubt. They battled back from adversity, Hey, and you've seen me say, I hate losing to Minnesota every year we go up there. 19 it's so frustrating.
The Cardinals were in the red zone 3 times. There were 2 touchdowns. That was a little bit better. I mean, we have it, but the Vikings were 5 for 5.
Yep.
They just killed them in the red zone.
Hey, I got one more thing about Vance Joseph. He's been pretty good coordinator this year. It's looked a lot better. But the one criticism that I have on Vance, why did the adjustments occur in the second half? It's kind of like Cliff. The adjustments don't start till the second half, and you're already behind the 8 ball.
Right.
It's maddening. They can't stop in the first half. They couldn't stop anything, really. Minnesota, we were lucky to be in the game, as you said. Minnesota could have had 24 points in the first half. They easily could have had 24 points in the first half.
Yes. Your coach, your head coach, and your defense coordinator are basically slow. They're getting out of the gate slow.
Yep.
The Vikings had an early chance to just put the Cardinals out quick. I mean, and for whatever reason, the Vikings never were able to really, but they kept coming, and they stayed in head. But for some reason, it was 17-14 Cardinals, right?
Yep.
It was 17-14 Cardinals, and I'm going, how did the Vikings allow this to happen? Now, you got to give credit for the Cardinals, but there's sometimes things like that in football happens. Kirk Cousins. I thought the Vikings got away from Dalvin Cook and the Jefferson combination that was working so well and was killing the Cardinals. And then they got back to it in the second half, and the Vikings started opening it up again, and they were hard to stop. And so you can see that for whatever reason, some teams get away what's been working for them, and then you give a team like the Cardinals life, and you don't give any team in the NFL life. And all of a sudden, guys like J.J. Watt making a big play. They get the blitz and the fumble by Simmons, right? And all of a sudden, you're going, holy crap, this is like they're still in it. They're down by 2 scores, and all of a sudden, they're right back in it. And then the Cardinals get a third break, fortunate break, unforced error, I like to call them, is the extra point. If that goes through, this is over, right? Like, yep. And all of a sudden, I'm going, they are given the platter to win, and they couldn't finish it. And that's frustrating. So clean up the game. The opportunities will be there, but can they clean it up? Because we've seen it already under the Kingsbury tenure. They don't play clean football.
Well, the bottom line is to follow up what you said right there. This will be my last comment. I'll let somebody else get on. But basically, this has gone on for 3.5 years now. The same mistakes. And a trend is a trend, correct?
Right.
Isn't it Bill Parcells who says you are who you are?
We got a big game next week. They got to win. They can't go 3-6. And so, like, the season's sort of in the balance for the Cardinals in the way of record-wise. You got to go, like, 6-3 to have a shot for a wild card. Can the Cardinals go 7-2? It's the NFL. It's possible. The Giants and Jets were doing something special first half. Those things can flip. The Cardinals, everybody's been saying this. It's wishful thinking, hopeful that maybe this is the season where we flip it, where the end is a lot stronger finish than in a slow start. We'll see what happens. That's what they're going to need, because if they have the usual December, late November, it's over, right? It's over if that comes back. Jobs are on the line, maybe. We're in November now, starting next week. So, who is Kingsbury hot seat, right? If this falls out of place, is he hot right now in the hot seat?
Absolutely.
Why don't you like him? You don't like him.
Well, it's not. I like the guy personally. I just don't think he's a head coach. I think he's an OC, and not at the NFL level either. Appreciate you having me on.
What's that?
Thanks for having me on.
Oh, I mean, I appreciate it too. I know you want to watch the other football games. They got that Niner game on. Oh no, the Seahawks and yeah, they got some good games going on too. So, hey, go Giants, go Giants! I got to beat the Seahawks, right? So let's go. All right, man. All right, Mike. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, Mike Buchanan, right there coming in. If you want to join the show itself, like he did, you got to go to the link on the post that you see in that description there, and just grab it, click on it, open it up, prompt yourself through, and just jump right in. I'll see you, and just be ready what you want to talk about, and we go from there. It's all positive, and I'll keep it nice and fun for you too. So, but your thoughts are important. I know I got your comments, and I want to read them right now, as I'm going to pop it on the screen. But the Cardinals do go down. And we got a lot of Viking fans behind me here. I got a lot of Cardinals in the house, but the Viking fans are having a good time with their win, and you got to come down to JJ Grubshack, folks. I'm telling you, it's a great area to watch a game. All the screens, everything, like you want. They got a VIP room. We're gonna have a VIP takeover here in a few weeks, so I want you to come out for that one too. And in a diverse menu of food. That I'll tell you too. All right. So I have a breakdown of all the game of all the possessions from first quarter through the fourth quarter. A lot of footnotes. I'm going to go through that with you in a little bit, but I do want to get your comments. Pop them on screen, folks. I know you're on it, and I see you right here as I'm going to just go into it right now. I got Bird Game Lifer on the screen. I got Lucy in the house. We should have fired him last year. This is Bird Game Lifer. You're not happy with Kingsbury. Lucy in the house. Ron Sanchez in the house. It says 11 games now, losing in Minnesota, right? Anna should have had that catch. Yeah, there's a lot of them. The fumble by Dortch didn't help. That was, and again, you had a great chance that really gave the Vikings a break because the Cardinals were on the move there. If you think about that, the Cardinals were getting the ball back. They had all this momentum. They were moving, man. They were moving, and they were on the move. And that fumble by Dortch on the punt just gave everything the Vikings were hoping to get, because they were struggling to slowing down the Cardinals offense at that point. The Cardinals defense was picked up. They were picking it up, and they were stopping the Vikings. They were making them punt more, right? And it was all there. And that punt just kind of that's that monkey wrench in the engine that just kind of busted it up. And then you thought for sure when the Vikings scored, it was going to be, how do we come back again on this? And they did. The Cardinals fought back and they got the ball back. So you look at those turnovers, crucial moments, right? And you're just like, can we just get one of those back? You can't. That's why you can't do that. And Dortch has been pretty good with his hands catching the football for whatever reason on that punt return. That was a big dagger in the Cardinals, because they had everything going for them. They were about to just get that ball back, and a lot of us felt go right back down on the field and score more points, right? So, all right, let's see. Let's go to the top of the list here. I got Kenny Salinas in the house. How you doing, Kenny? I hope you're doing well. Let's see here. Doing great. Let's see. We're starting to get dialed in. He thinks this is Lifer. In the Patrick, the D-Hop is definitely a missing piece for sure. There's no doubt about it. But how about Patrick Peterson today, huh? Ali Jamont says Cliff Screensbury brought his Texas Tech playbook again today. He did in the first half. There's no doubt. Screensbury, as known as Queensbury. Oh, no, I mean Kingsbury, is the bubble offense. I've told you once before, it's not working. Teams are ready for it. And if you notice around the NFL today, all the games, a lot of teams got away from that bubble offense more. Something woke up in the last couple of weeks, and teams are going downfield. They're stretching it more. They will never get away from the bubble offense. It's a matter of how often and how frequently you want to use it and the volume of it, because it's really easy to defend. And it won't be successful and productive if you don't get the ball downfield and stretch it. Now, D-Hop was able to do that. I think D-Hop had like 5 targets or receptions in the first half, and that's okay. But I was thinking more. I thought D-Hop should have like 18 receptions today. He had 12. but most of it was late in the game or second half. Why weren't you going to the big guy early on? Like, just go to your strengths. Go to your strengths, hands down. Okay, and those strengths are right now are Ertz and D Hop. Everybody else are role players in the way of just having their say, helping them moving the ball a little bit. But the big play guys are your tight end and D Hop, because you don't have no running game. James Conner is a big player, and when he gets back in the lineup, staying healthy, he'll make big plays, and you have your third element. And hopefully Kyler can reduce the mistakes like he did today. He really did not have to throw those balls. There was just lame ducks. Not good. And he felt the pressure. I don't know how he's able to see downfield with all that pressure on him. He got hit a lot. He got hurried a lot. And, when you're throwing off your back foot, it doesn't help either. So, but you got to give credit to those Vikings. They're the ones that brought it. So, more comments coming in. I do see you guys, and I do appreciate it. I do appreciate you guys. Appreciate it. Marcus Higgins in the house. I appreciate you popping in too. Leave your comments. Again, if you want to pop in, go to the link. Don't be shy. I know you'll be on camera, but it is what it is. And you can use your phone or your laptop at home and go from there. All right, let me I'm going to keep you guys. I'm going to watch and monitor your comments. And I can't see all the comments, unfortunately, but I see a lot of them, and I'll get to them to you in a minute. But let's kind of get the dial started here in the first quarter, and let's kind of go through it. I'm going to try to stimulate you about what happened, and maybe you have your comments in those moments too. So the Vikings, came out of the gates right away. A lot of run, pass, first drive of the game. Cousins has that 20-plus yard TD run that surprised us that he was able to get away and just take it into the end zone. And quickly it was 7-0, and you're going, crap. Okay, all right. You don't want to be down on the road like this. But, Jefferson looked good for the Vikings on offense. The Cardinals knew right away this guy was good. And who this guy was, he's really that good. Justin Jefferson for the Vikings is an amazing talent. And he finds the ways to get open, and he's tall, lanky. He's their D-Hop. He's a DeAndre Hopkins. Let's put it that way. And Vikings kept looking downfield. They were looking downfield. And then they went to Dalvin Cook, right? And they had a lot of these plus 20 passes to Jefferson, which is common for their offense. That's known. And the Cardinals should have been ready for it. And maybe they were, but they just couldn't stop it. But they started mixing it up with Dalvin Cook, in that drive. And you knew right then and there that the Vikings had their game plan, and it was working. But a lot of teams do this to the Cardinals, okay? And the Cardinals get the ball. Nice drive, after that touchdown by the Vikings. And, the no running game. The passing to D-Hop and Rondale Moore looked effective, right? But the running game wasn't there. A.J. Green needed to catch that jump ball in the end zone, but Patrick Peterson was there and made an easy defensive deflection. That was it, pass defense, and the Cardinals end up kicking the field goal, making it 7-3. And when you think about that, those are 7 points, all right? A.J. Green needs to be more aggressive on that. He has to be. He just was waiting for the ball to drop into his hands, and that's not what you're a receiver. You got to ball, and I'm surprised a veteran like that. It hurt them. They lost 4 more points there. So 7-3 at that point. All right, they're in it. The Cardinals found a way to move the ball. There's something mixing up there pretty good. You're thinking Cardinals get the second drive back. Kyler's legs, his use scramble, right? But then there's a penalty right after that, and then a sack right after that, and the promising drive gone. Can't do that. You got to play cleaner football. Again, this is opportunities when you're moving the ball, but you shoot yourself in the foot, right? So then the Cardinals faced a lot of Dalvin Cook at that point. There were some penalties involved. And then it was 14-3, and all of a sudden you're like, man, if the Cardinals don't pull this together, it's gonna get nasty. And you're thinking this is like, it just feels that way. And this is a better football team. They're not playing a mediocre team where you can hang around, right? And you're thinking that the Vikings are just gonna start blowing them away. And so at this point, the stats indicated a slow start for the Cardinals. They had 41 yards total, while the Vikings had 198 yards. Okay, and we're still early in the game, and the Cardinals offense but the Vikings offense was just rocking it. So that's the part that, the first downs, the Vikings had 13 at that point. Cardinals had 4, but 13. So you're looking, this is going to be a destruction, right? 14-3. Cardinals get the ball again. Next on that drive, it looked like they were a mess. The bubble offense, like Ali said, the Screensberry stuff, nothing was working. The running game wasn't working, and there was pressure, and way too much of those bubble plays at the line of scrimmage. And both teams, are more willing to look downfield. And the Cardinals are trying to, but it looked like they were more convinced that the bubble was going to work again or still work, and they got to get out of that mind frame. It's a part of the offense. It's an ingredient of the offense. It's not your main focus of your offense, and I think that's the biggest stubborn, or just maybe they don't have anything else in their playbook, and which would be surprising, and that's just supposed to be a kind of a funny thing because they can go downfield, and they showed it today. They showed it last year, and the fact that you're just relying on DeAndre Hopkins to be that guy tells you that why couldn't you create that? Because DeAndre Hopkins puts a threat because he catches everything. He had that one drop, but they didn't kill him for that because they were able to put points on the board. But he catches everything, and they all know that. And he makes a tough catch. He's a dog out there, right? So they all know that. So they are worried about him. Cardinals don't have that effect on anybody else out there, and that's their own fault. To just have just one guy. You got, all the other receivers are just average at best. Like, we're just going to say average just to be nice, So, all right, let's move on. I'm going to get through this. I know your comments are coming back through, but I'm going to keep going here. Let's see. So you started seeing more like misdirections with the offense now. So the bubble wasn't there. The Cardinals do like the play calling, the plays at the line of scrimmage where they're running, the screens, the little short passes, and then you're started seeing misdirections. So fake here and rolling that way to a reverse, right? Just a lot of players running in different areas to get that defense off its mark because they were locked in on that offense with the Cardinals. So the Cardinals made an adjustment. It was there. It was a good one. And it did shake up that Viking defense. And the Cardinals offense seemed to now find something that and loosen them up. Give them something else to think about, right? So the Vikings defense was way aggressive, right? The line of scrimmage, right? The linebacking, the blitzes were coming in, the stunts were everywhere. They didn't care, but now they had to worry a little bit. And then Kyler gets sacked. That hurt. They got to punt the ball when things look like they could go going again. And it's like, right before half, it was a nice drive. They had Hopkins, again. Benjamin was making plays. He is a big part of that offense, but they can't run the ball. And, didn't have any room to run. A lot of quarterback pressure on Kyler. And, not a lot of pressure on Kirk Cousins. Let's think about this. Not until later in the game when things got tight and really intense, the Cardinals were able to dial up some things and get some pressure on the quarterback, which really changed. So, but where was this in the first half, right? Hopkins made a great TD catch, that one-hand slick-handed catch, great throw, put it right where it needed to be, and a guy like Hopkins makes those plays, right? So instead of going to A.J. Green, just throw it to Hopkins, who gets the ball, right? But Murray, nice throw. It was 14-10 at this point, and Hopkins at that point had 5 targets for 55 yards, right? And now the team stats shift a little bit here, in the first half, later in the first half. Now team yards total Vikings at 217. Remember earlier I just said to you their numbers were 198. All of a sudden 217, right? Just maybe 20 yards more. Cardinals now 139. They were at 41. First downs, Vikings were still stuck at 14 with the Cardinals now at 11. So now the indicators are saying, hey, the Cardinals found something. They found some rhythm. They found something about that defense, and they have more confidence about it. And that was the truth. That was the real. Okay, and it happened. So right before half, the Cardinals, though, the defense maybe a little tired, gave this field goal opportunity for the Vikings before half. Vikings were so close to putting some points on the board, and it didn't happen. But it was like, you can't let this happen. It didn't. But that's kind of how the game was going. So close yet so far kind of stuff. Second half, Cardinals open up drive was not good. Not good. They were saved by a penalty by the Vikings to keep their drive alive, right? Remember this? That was a big play because the Cardinals were about to punt the ball away, right? They were about, they're winning 14-10. They were about to punt the ball away. And then there was like that weird 2 players running off the field for the Vikings. And all of a sudden you're like, penalty. And the Cardinals were going to get another play on 3rd down. And they make the best of it, right? And the Cardinals go down the field, and they took advantage of an opportunity. Unfortunate or fortunate break, whatever how you look at it, the Cardinals took advantage of it, right? They got a break. They needed some breaks. They got a lot of breaks, right? And they just couldn't finish and couldn't keep the game clean. But this was a first big break for the Cardinals because it was not looking good. The Cardinals made it happen. 8-yard touchdown reception by Ertz. It's 17-14 Cardinals, and everything just flipped. And you're going, 5 plays and 52 yards. The Hopkins made a great catch in that drive, streaking down the middle of the sideline that he made. Cardinals continue to use that misdirection offense, and then play action is it was they were on, and the offense was. You could say like the offense is back. Like it feels a lot better. Okay, the Vikings get the ball. First drive, down 17-14, right? And the second half, and it was a big 3rd and 6 pass to Jefferson. Great catch by Jefferson. Great catch because there was great coverage there. Cardinals were all over that coverage. Jefferson just made a great play. This like D-Hop makes great catches with tight coverages and guys in their face. This was a Jefferson moment. Unfortunately, first down, drive stays alive. Touchdown run, 7-yard run. Now 8 plays, 8 later and 75 yards later. Nice drive by the Vikings. It's 21-17. All right. Now you're thinking, all right, it's a game. We're in it. Let's get the ball back, right? And then Murray throws that desperate, weird, uncalled for interception, basically, right? Interception. He gave the Vikings great field position. These are the key moments. This is why it was clean. And that's why you got to be unhappy with Kyler Murray. Some of the things that he did good today, he killed his team because he didn't have to throw that ball. Okay, if you take the sack and things don't go well and you got to punt the ball, fine. At least the field position is better off. You gave the Vikings, they're already in scoring position right away, and it killed them. Okay, Murray was under pressure there, and that foolishly thrown ball, ugly pass, it just, everybody's saying, like, get rid of him, right? And, Kyler, one of those things where you just say, when's he going to grow up in a way as a quarterback and know when to take the sack and not try to do too much? And that was trying to survive a play. And you give him credit. He is a fighter. He doesn't want to get on play, but you got to be smart about it. And that ball hawking defense in Minnesota is for real. It's good. They got a pass rush. And the Vikings got some injuries on that defensive side. It really kind of slowed them down defensively. The Cardinals took advantage of. All right. The Vikings get the ball on that interception. Dalvin Cook, touchdown run. It's 28-17. And you're like, all right, we're not out of it. We got a lot of football left, but now we're down by 2 possessions. And here we go again. We got to fight back down by 2 possessions again. And this was a common thing in the second half, right? Here we go, right? And, Cards respond, though. They respond quickly. 4 plays, 70 yards, touchdown catch and run by Rondale Moore, and it was 28-3, right? Cardinals go for 2, though, for some reason, and it fails. Didn't have to go for 2. It was a lot of time in football, and that 1 point can always come back and haunt you, right? Always. And it nearly did. And it could have been helpful. So now it's 28-23. Cardinals down by 5 because they missed the 2-point conversion. All right. Could have been a penalty there when D-Hop got hit in the head. He was leading with his shoulder, but the helmet-to-helmet contact was clear. No call. That would have given him another shot for the 2-point conversion. All right. Unfortunate. Didn't happen. But give him credit. 4 plays. Boom, boom, bang, bomb. Cardinals were right back in it. And you're like, holy smoke. Like, all right, maybe this team is really not dead. And maybe we are finding our way. That's what you're saying as fans, right? All right. So Cardinals get the ball back again. They get the ball back again on the next drive for the Vikings, right? Isaiah Simmons comes in on a blitz. He knocks the ball out of Cousins' hands, a quarterback. It's a fumble, right? JJ's there. He can't find the ball, but there is Isaiah himself recovering his own fumble, right? Or forcing the fumble situation, right? Cardinals get the ball back. Beautiful, man. Yeah, before the end of the third quarter, that happened, right? Cardinals get the great field position, just like the Vikings did on that previous possession when they scored their touchdown. Right, it was fantastic, right? Until Kyler Murray, well, I wouldn't say Kyler's fault, okay, but this is what happened. Start of the fourth quarter, Cardinals had a great chance. They get the break they needed to copy back what the Vikings did to them when the Cardinals had their turnover, and they got the ball in the red zone, right? But the play calling in that red zone, they had to call timeout. It was a 3rd and 8. You're like, here we go again. Here we go again, right? Cardinals red zone wasn't too bad, 2 for 3 with touchdowns, right? Or scoring wise, I should say, it wasn't too bad. But then Kyler Murray at the line of scrimmage in the shotgun formation, right? Not under center, right? And you come out of a timeout, you should have your play, right? And Kyler, for whatever reason, was doing an audible. He was changing something out there because you can see him doing all this, right? He was doing all this, and you can tell that this was a big deal. And then the ball is snapped, and it hits Kyler and a fumble, and boom, and bang. Cardinals recover the ball. Thankfully, they kick a field goal, had a chance again, leaving points off the board, meaning having a chance to get touchdowns, and you're kicking field goals again. Again, missed opportunities, not playing clean football is affecting you scoring more points. This is a real deal, and this is the Cardinal problem. And it does start at the top. Start the general manager and the head coach and everything else of their coaching staff is getting these guys disciplined. Mistake-free football. Can't let these things happen. If it happens here and there, but when it happens often, you lose games like this because it happened way too much today. So fourth quarter, down 28-26, you're thinking, all right, this is a fight, and we're still in it, down by 2, a lot of football left, and you're okay, you're having a good time, and you're nervous, right? This is NFL football, and the Cardinals defense does another great job. They get the ball back again. They're doing their part. And then the fumble by Dortch on the punt, and that's the turning point of the game, right there, because the Cardinals got back. They fought back into the game. And they had a lot of misfortunes. They had the Murray interceptions, right? It was like they were fighting through. But then the big turning point was a fumble on the punt. And to me, that was pivotal because the Vikings were not. They were stuck. Their offense was stuck. The Cardinals defense came back out again and stopped them again. Right? It was on. It was on. Think about that. But the fumble gives everything the Vikings needed a big break because they were swimming, man. They had sharks around them. They were swimming. They couldn't figure it out what the Cardinals were doing. The Cardinals were doing great on D. Right? Everything was going the Cardinals' favor, but the scoreboard. And then turnovers. Huge turnover. 25-yard line with 10 minutes to go in the game. Vikings get the ball, right? Vikings, touchdown pass, 34-26, but there was a huge missed extra point. Huge. Now, it comes back in play because the Cardinals had a chance at the end of the game down by 8. Okay, down by 8. And we can all go back and look at when the Cardinals went for 2. If they make that 2-point conversion, then they're down by 6. Okay, at this point of the game. And who knows? You may walk it off, right? I mean, there's a lot of unfortunate things that happen in this game. But Murray throws his second interception of the game with 6:43 to go left in the game. Again, didn't have to throw it. Not quite sure why he was throwing it. Desperate, trying to make it do too much. You saw his frustration on the sidelines, sitting on the bench after that interception. And the Vikings up by 8 points, get the ball back, and you're thinking, can the Cardinals defense do it again? Can they pull it off again? All right, so they do. Cardinals defense looked, things that were devastating at that point. but they get the ball back, and they do. And a huge pass interference call gives the Cardinals a 1st down and 10, first down on a 3rd down play. Remember that one? Another fortunate break. The Cardinals were swimming again. Their offense wasn't, and they get another break. I mean, we can count like 4 huge breaks to keep their drives alive, keep the game going, right? Keep themselves in the game. Can't get it done. They couldn't finish it, and that hurt them as the game, as they get the ball back and they get the ball downfield with the clock ticking away, under 2 minutes to go, no timeouts, and all that fell apart. But that pass interference, it was a legitimate call, and it kept their drive alive and got that ball downfield, put them in striking distance for something miraculous to happen. But again, couldn't finish it. Had those breaks, all those opportunities, and unfortunately, the Cardinals could not finish it. And you got to give the Vikings credit, though. I mean, you really do, because they actually were the team that kept the Cardinals backpedaling for the most part of the game. For the most part, the Cardinals were always, for the most part, fighting back into the end. They had that 17-14 lead. Your comments are big here. Let me look at them. Let me look what you got here, okay? Breon in the house. Stephen Harris in the house. Lucy says, say hi to my daughter. Here you go. Lucy's, we missed you. I missed you guys, too. Cardinals beat themselves. This is Corey Andre Royale in the house. Royal in the house. It wasn't the Vikings. It was the Cardinals. Vikings were mediocre, he said. The Cardinals, there's some truth to that. I'm not going to debate that as much. I thought the Vikings played a pretty good game, but they took advantage more of the Cardinals' mistakes, and the Cardinals took advantage of the Vikings' mistakes. And the Cardinals know they can beat the Vikings. You just got to play cleaner football. Jennifer Walls in the house. How you doing? Joel Soderberg. Joel, waiting for the bomb to drop in his hands. He needs to go. The ball. He means AJ Green. Yeah, that end zone. Corey, thank you, man. Great comment. Cut him. Get rid of him. AJ Green. You're right. I mean, you got to go get it, man. You're a tall, lanky receiver, man, and that was part of that play. That was a big letdown. That was a big letdown to see that. And I don't know if they'll cut him, because I don't know who else you're going to pick up, right, and find. But there is a trade deadline. Just saying. Just saying. But, all right, your comments are strong. I appreciate it. I'm going to go back to some stats here, and then I'm not going to be on long. We're coming down to the wire here for the show itself. Post-game Cardinals here live at JJ Grub Shack here in East Mesa, Arizona. Thank you guys for joining me here itself. Some numbers on the game itself, and then I'm going to recap everything at the top, and then we're going to be out. But I appreciate and I love you for this. And hey, it's still loud in here. I don't know if you would have liked it, because these Viking fans won't go home. They won't go home. Can you just go home? Like, I keep hearing them. But I got a lot of Seahawk fans in here too, and we got a big screen. I don't know. Let me try to see if I can. But there's the screen, right? Where is the screen? There it is. Nice screen. There we go. A couple of big screens. All right. So hopefully we can get you guys in here in a couple of weeks with a big takeover that we're going to do. I don't know if it's the Rams game maybe, but we want to have a good time. And the Cardinals may be in a desperate spot. They got to win next week. What a big game next week for the Cardinals. Holy smokes, right? They got to pull this one off against Seattle. You got to root for the Giants today. Hopefully the Giants can pull off this win. It's 7-7. Giants are balling. The Rams are beating the Niners, right? And the Niners are 4-3, and the Rams are 3-4, right? Is that I'm right about that, right? So either way, what you're looking for is this great scenario with the loss is that the Rams do beat the Niners, and the Giants beat the Seattle Seahawks, and you got 4 wins at the top there, all fighting for those wins, right? So the Rams will have 4 wins. It'll be 4-3. That's right. They had a bye week, so it'll be 4-3. The Niners will be 4-4, right? The Seahawks would be 4-4, and the Cardinals will be 3-5, and they're right there still. And so pivotal games, beating Seattle next week will have a lot to say about the division title if they are going to be in it to win that. They lose that game, they fall behind, they're in a deep spot, losing 2 to Seattle at that point. All right. So you got to be excited about it. Watch your games. You got to watch that all the NFC West games that you're watching, you know who you're rooting for. Yeah, you got to root for the Rams. I know it sucks, but you want everything to stay messy and chaotic as your team is trying to find itself, and it looks like it's starting to find itself, but they got to get cleaner and play cleaner football here at Arizona itself. All right. You got more comments? Did I see more coming in? Let me see. Oh, you're watching the game, the Niner games and all. I get it. Okay. Very fortunate. All right. I think the Giants just got a big turnover in that game against the Seahawks. Fingers crossed, man. Go Giants. Go Giants. Rams are winning 14-10 with a minute to go in the second quarter. So there you go. That's your update for those games around the league. If you don't know right now, the other scores, we saw more scoring in the NFL today, and I truly believe teams are starting to get more creative and getting away from more bubble stuff because it's killing you. And if the Cardinals don't figure that one out starting their game, you got to be aggressive, come out of the gates aggressive. You know why? Because you have done nothing anyway with your bubble. Your bubble is like a little dot, right? And it's easy to stomp that out. It's a little dot. It's not even a bubble, okay? It's like by accident, you hit the period on your, your texting. The bubble is non-existent in the game, early in the game. It doesn't work. Get away from it. Show a whole new look. You can always go back to your bubble crap and make it work as part of the offense, not your focus of your offense. And that's what we keep seeing with the Cardinals. And a lot of teams in the NFL have been doing it today. It's killed them. It's sort of like conservative offense. And I told you a week ago or so or more, the teams that get aggressive on offense, stretch the field, are winning, are going to win, and going to go far in the season and go far in the postseason, or at least get into the postseason, right? Because they're the ones taking the bigger chances. They're the ones stretching the field. They're the ones opening it up. The running attack will be better. The short game will be better, passing and getting the ball downfield. We saw that with the Cardinals in the second half. But why is it always the second half? You get a little bit more desperate when you're behind, and you're constantly falling behind 2 possessions today. Happened a few times. And you got to get desperate. When you get desperate, what do? You take more chances. Why do you have to wait to take chances when you're desperate-ish? You're feeling a little bit more pressure, right? Get that going early, man. Because if you don't succeed early with those deep passes and, getting the ball downfield more, opening the offense more, fine, because you haven't done anything in the first quarter all year long. So why are you sticking to the same old crap? Some people are going to study this and go, well, they did this more in the first quarter, did that. No, but it's the same stuff. It just done differently, but it's the same. It's like a different mirage. It's look over here, but we're going to do the same thing over here, though. Because, we always did it over here on the left side of the field, but now we're going to try the right side, and we're going to trick them. No, you're not tricking anybody. You made Patrick Peterson look great today. You really did. And Patrick does look good. He looks better. You know why? Because his defense is better around them. The secondary is better around them. And Patrick is able to be a little bit better, too, because I thought Patrick played a good game. Everybody gets beat, but Patrick looked better, and he was definitely looking forward to this game. Definitely. So was Jordan Hicks. His big 4th down stop was huge. That was a Cardinal player, and you did not want to pay this guy to be your quarterback on defense, who's now quarterbacking that Viking defense, and maybe the biggest difference on defense was that guy from the Vikings today. Should have been a Cardinal. Should have signed that guy for a couple more years. Guys like Zaven, again, where was Zaven again? Had like another splash play here and there, but never consistently playing. Jordan Hicks would have been there. Things would have been different. Zaven still would have had some playing time creatively. But the Cardinals, upstairs, front office, whatever it is. All right. I look at Jordan Hicks and I'm going, man, come on, Cardinals. I mean, all right, I wanted to sign Kyler Murray, and we needed that money for Kyler. That's what it was for, right? You were trying to find all the different ways to get money to this guy because you wanted to keep him. Find another way. Tell Kyler, listen, man, we need a defense. We want to keep Jordan Hicks. The guy's been solid his whole career in Philadelphia, too. Go figure, man. Anyway, all right. Last part of your comments, and then we're out of here. Sammy in the house. Appreciate it. Christine in the house. Appreciate it, guys. We're well into the show after the game, post-game wise, on the Cardinals post-game show here. Cornelius, Brad, Hanna, live on Hanna Time. And did Seattle just score a touchdown? No. Thank goodness. All right. Thank goodness. All right. Yes, I'm going to wrap it up. We're out of here, folks, because we have so much to do. I want to watch more football with you guys, right? Let's bring up the music. Let's get this going. I appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Keep it here on Thursday night. We'll be here again for Thursday Night Football. I got a stacked show with Philadelphia coming in the house. We got some guests from Philadelphia coming on. The Phillies in the World Series. We got the Eagles playing on Thursday night. They look good again today, beating up on the Steelers. They're still undefeated. So we got a lot of Philly talk, Philly stuff going on Friday, Thursday Night Football, plus more around the NFL and your Arizona Cardinals too. We'll see how it all plays out. Cardinals taking on Seattle next week in the desert, and it's not a must-win, but you don't want to go 3-6, so you can probably say that for the division at least. All right, Cornelius, Brad, Hanna, live from JJ Grub Shack here at East Mesa, Arizona. We'll be here Thursday night, right here, same spot, same time. No, not same time. We'll be at 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern time, and we'll see you then, right here, Global Sports Broadcasting Network, Hanna Time. Have a good one, guys.